Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Devi Nashtavraya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 23, Life's Ultimate Goal, Love of Godhead, text 46 onwards. Ei panchasthai bhava hai pancharasa, ye rase bhakta sukhi, Krishna hai vasha. So, Mahaprabhu spoke about Panch Prakar or 5 transcendental mellows, and he said these are sthai rasa, sthai bhava. These 5 transcendental mellows exist permanently. The devotee may be attracted to one of these mellows and thus he becomes happy. Krishna also becomes inclined towards such a devotee and comes under his control. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, sthai bhava, permanent ecstasy, is just thus described. The mood, bhav, that brings under control the favorable ecstasies, such as laughing, and unfavorable ecstasies, such as anger, ruling over them like a king, is called sthai bhav, or permanent ecstasy. In this connection, continuous ecstatic love for Krishna is called permanent ecstasy. So, means any devotee in any of the 5 primary bhav or permanent bhav, so that remains permanent, and then there are 7 which are secondary, which can go up or down or appear, disappear, manifest. That's different story. But these 5 will remain permanent for a soul. Premadik sthai bhav samagri milane Krishna bhakti rasa rupe paye parinam. When the permanent ecstasies, neutrality, survivorship, and so on are mixed with other ingredients, devotional service in love of Godhead is transformed and becomes composed of transcendental mellows. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the following definition is given: Athasaya Keshavatera Lakshitaya Nigadyate Samagri Pariposhena Paramaras Rupata. Love for Krishna, Keshav, as previously described, reaches the supreme state of being composed of mellows when its ingredients are fulfilled. By means of Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvic, and Vyabhichari, hearing and chanting are activated, and the devotee is able to taste love for Krishna. Then attachment for Krishna, or permanent ecstasy, sthai bhav, becomes the mellow of devotional service. Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvic, Vyabhichari, sthai bhav ras hai ai chari mili. Permanent ecstasy becomes a more and more relishable transcendental mellow through the mixture of special ecstasy, which is Vibhav, subordinate ecstasy, Anubhav, natural ecstasy, Sattvic, and transitory ecstasy, which is Vyabhichari. Of course, these are deep subject matters, more detail given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So right now we just try to hear these mellows or different details. Dadi yena khanda marich karpura milane rasa lakhya rasa hai apurva aswadane. Yogurt mixed with sugar candy, black pepper, and camphor is very palatable and tasty. Similarly, when permanent ecstasy mixes with other ecstatic symptoms, it becomes unprecedentedly tasty. Dvivid Vibhav Alamban Udipan, Vanshi Swaradi Udipan, Krishnadi Alamban. There are two kinds of particular ecstasies, vibhav. One is called the support and the other is called awakening. So alamban is support and uddipan is awakening. The vibration of Krishna's flute is an example of awakening, and Lord Krishna himself is an example of the support. Now, other acharyas have gone into detail in different books about all this. Anubhav is Smith Nritya Gitadi Udbhasvar, Stambadi Satvik Anubhavera Bhitar. The subordinate ecstasies are smiling, dancing, and singing, as well as different manifestations in the body. The natural ecstasies, such as being stunned, are considered among the subordinate ecstasies, which is Anubhav. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vibhav is described as follows. The cause bringing about the tasting of love for Krishna is called Vibhav. Vibhav is divided in two categories, Alamban, support, and Uddipan, awakening. In Agni Puran, it is mentioned, Vibhavyate hi rati adir yatra yena vibhavyate. Vibhavo namasa dvedha lamban uddipanatmaka. That which causes love for Krishna to appear is called Vibhav. And that has two divisions, Alamban, in which the love appears, and Uddipan, by which the love appears. So it is mentioned in Agni Puran. So it's not that six Goswamis and the following acharyas, they gave all these books out of their own. Yes, they had their ecstasies, they had their realizations, but it's also mentioned in other Puranas also. And also love for Krishna, when we talk about love for Krishna, the storehouse of that love is Srimati Radha. So people who have not understood Radharani, who have not read the scriptures, when they talk about, oh, Radharani is not mentioned in the scriptures, at least read Agni Puran. Even if somebody doesn't want to read all the Goswami literatures, people just want to comment without any proof. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the following is stated about Alamban. The object of love is Krishna, and the container of that love is the devotee of Krishna. Learned scholars call them Alamban, the foundations. Similarly, Uddipan is described as follows. Those things which awaken ecstatic love for love are called Uddipan. Mainly, this awakening is made possible by the qualities and activities of Krishna, as well as by his mode of decoration and the way his hair is arranged. So that awakens the ecstatic love for Krishna. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also gives the following example of Uddipan. Krishna's smile, the fragrance of his transcendental body, his flute, bugle, ankle bells, and conch shell, the marks on his feet, his place of residence, his favorite plant, Tulasi, his devotees, and the observance of fasts and vows connected to his devotion, all awaken the symptoms of ecstatic love. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu further describes anubhavas, the many external ecstatic symptoms or bodily transformations, which indicate ecstatic emotions in the mind and which are also called udbhasvar, are the anubhavas or subordinate ecstatic expressions of love. Some of these symptoms are dancing, falling down and rolling on the ground, singing and crying very loudly, bodily contortions, loud vibrations, yawning, deep breathing, disregard for others, and the frothing of saliva, mad laughter, spitting, hiccups, and other similar symptoms. All these symptoms are divided into two divisions, Shita and Kshepan. Singing, yawning, and so on are called Shita. And dancing and bodily contortions are called kshepan. Although these are all mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada has given his commentaries to whatever extent. So sometimes it is also mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.21, the way it is detailed. So some chapters we don't get into because we will misunderstand and will not understand. So these are some chapters. Whenever realize, although Prabhupada has given his commentaries, whenever realizations or when we are so advanced that we can really read those, understand those, discuss those, and have more and deeper realizations, then we can read this. Otherwise, we'll misunderstand and try to implement them in a distorted way. That's where the problem is. Otherwise, they're wonderful topics to learn, to discuss. But we have to see our entitlement. So in his Anubhashya, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati quotes the following words from the Vedic literature describing Udbhasvar. The ecstatic symptoms manifest in the external body of a person in ecstatic love are called Udbhasvar by learned scholars. Some of these are slackening of the belt and dropping of clothes and hair. Others are bodily contortions, yawning, a trembling of the front portion of the nostrils, heavy breathing, hiccuping, and falling down and rolling on the ground. These are the external manifestations of emotional love. Stamba and other symptoms are described later. Nirved harshadi tatrisha vyabhichari, sabamili rasahai chamatkarakari. There are other ingredients beginning with complete despondency and jubilation. Altogether, there are 33 varieties of these transitory opposing elements, and when they combine, the mellow becomes very wonderful. I mean, we read about gopis and Srimati Radharani, what mellows they had, and they would go through all these different conditions. And that's what Mahaprabhu is saying. When all these elements combine, the mellow becomes very wonderful. Krishna's sakhas, they also go through these mellows to certain extent. Parental, like Yashoda Maya, Nanda Baba, and other elderly gopis, gopas, they go through these symptoms also. But all these symptoms appear in full in gopis. And in fullness also there can be gradations to the complete degrees in Srimati Radharani. That's why Srimati Radharani is considered the topmost. It just, we don't understand her mood, her position, her love for Krishna. So people just make some stupid comments. Srimati Radharani. We don't know anything about Radharani. Nirveda, harsh, and other symptoms are explained in Madhya Lila. The opposing elements, Vyabhichari, are described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as follows. There are 33 transitory opposing elements known as Vyabhichari, ecstatic emotions. They oppose the permanent sentiments while simultaneously assisting them in special ways. They are to be known by words, by different symptoms seen in the limbs and in other parts of the body, and by the peculiar conditions of the heart. Because they set in motion the progress of the permanent sentiments, they are specifically called sanjari, or impelling principles. Because they set in motion the progress of the permanent sentiments, these impelling principles rise up and fall back in the permanent sentiments of ecstatic love, like waves in an ocean of ecstasy. Consequently, they're called vyabhichari. Difficult to understand. So these impelling principles rise up and fall back in the permanent sentiments. On permanent sentiment, we know it is sthai bhav. So now just thinking of Srimati Radharani, sthai bhav is madhurya. Now in madhurya bhav, it's not like just one constant bhav. Now they are, to make it more wonderful, there could be ups and downs of different opposing elements. There are, say, there are 33 transitory. Transitory means temporary, come and go. Opposing elements, some bring the bhav up, some bring the bhav down. We're not like robots that, okay, just one programming and that's it. No, they're moods. And that's why it's called waves. Wave is not just one continuous level force of water. Wave means goes up and down, up and down. And when it goes up and down, it becomes more beautiful. Now, in Srimati Radharani's heart, all these waves are going up and down. Sometimes more up, more down, sometimes less up and less down. But her greatest quality is, even though in her heart, or well, heart or the whole persona, it's the same thing. There is no difference between body and soul. Although these emotions are going up and down, she controls herself completely. It's like in a pot, there is water, full of water, and in the water there are waves, but the pot is not going here or there, it's controlled. Of course, pot is non-living, it's hard. It's just to understand this example. That is Srimati Radharani. And Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami all about these bhav and anubhav, vibhav. But later in Madhya Lila, we'll read what he goes through when all these bhav appear in him. Because that is one of the reasons he appeared, to understand and taste the love that Radharani goes through. And when Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself, taken the mood of Radharani, when he goes through those emotions, he could not control. But Radharani controls herself. Complete control. Inside, so many things are going on. Outwardly, complete control. That is Srimati Radharani. And this is what, although Mahaprabhu is explaining theoretically, but when he goes through all this, we'll see what happens to him. Panchavidha rasa shanta dasya sakhya vatsalya. Madhura nama shringar rasa sabate prabalya. There are 5 transcendental mellows: neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love, which is also known as the mellow of sweetness, Shringar rasa. Conjugal love excels all the others. Shanta rase shanti rati prema paryanta hai. Dasya rati raga paryanta krameta badai. The position of neutrality increases up to the point where one can appreciate love of Godhead. The mellow of servitorship gradually increases to the point of spontaneous love of Godhead. Sakhya vatsalya rati paye anuragasi. Sur baladeyer bhav paryant premera. After the mellow of servitorship, there are the mellows of friendship and parental, which increase to subordinate, spontaneous love. The greatness of the love found in friends like Subal extends to the standard of ecstatic love of Godhead. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the mellow of neutrality increases to simple love of Godhead. Okay, so Shantras goes up to love of God. In the mellow of servitorship, Dasiras, love of Godhead increases beyond that to affection, counter love, anger based on love and attachment. So it goes further to sneha, man, those stages. Similarly, the mellow of friendship increases to affection, counter love, attachment, and sub-attachment, rag and anurag. It's the same with the mellow of parental affection. The special feature of the mellow of friendship exhibited by personalities like Subal is that it increases from fraternal affection to counter love, to spontaneous attachment, to subordinate attachment, and finally to the ecstasy, where all the ecstatic symptoms continuously exist. So even among the sakhas of Krishna, there are divisions. Some are sakhas, some are priya sakhas, and priya, the topmost of priya, I think priya narma sakhas. That's ashta sakhas. Those are the inner circle of sakhas. So the inner circle is those in whom these bhavs are to different level, different degree. Just like, just to understand, even if you take example of Prime Minister Modi, so yes, he has many acquaintances, but then some are his more well-wishers, some are his friends, some are his very close circle of friends with whom he can discuss more confidential things, obviously. Those confidential things cannot be discussed with everyone. Sorry. So similarly, Krishna has his also inner circle of friends. With him, he discuss confidential things, means his pastimes with the gopis. So only some of the inner circle of sakhas know. And they also help him in that, those pastimes. They're not against, obviously. They are lovers of Krishna. They want Krishna to enjoy completely. So they help him. But these are sakhas. They only go up to a certain level in Sakhya Ras. Shantadi Rasera Yoga Viyoga Duya Bheda. Sakhya Vatsalya Yoga Dir Aneka Vibheda. There are two divisions of each of the five mellows: yoga, connection, and viyoga, separation. Among the mellows of friendship and parental affection, there are many divisions of connection and separation. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, these divisions are described. In the mellows of Bhakti Yoga, there are two stages, Ayog and Yog. Ayog or Viyog is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as learned scholars in the science of Bhakti Yoga say that when there is an absence of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, separation takes place. In the stage of Ayog or separation, the mind is filled with Krishna consciousness and is fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. In that stage, the devotee searches out the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of God. It is said that in that stage of separation, all the devotees in the different mellows are always active in thinking of ways to attain Krishna's association. So this is union in separation. Now we talk about yogis, right? Jnana yogi and Hatha yogi. So they are yogis, they are trying to connect with Krishna. Bhakti yoga, it talks about yoga and viyoga. Yoga, connection, viyoga, separation. In separation, if he is at that level, he will be thinking of Krishna and how to come in, how to again establish that connection or that connection, we can say, yeah, or association. It is said that in the stage of separation, all the devotees in different mellows are always active in thinking of ways to attain Krishna's association. So means physically they are in viyog, but mentally they are in association. And this is considered higher, very high stage. See, only in Bhakti Yoga, this is possible. That's why Bhakti Yoga is not just, cannot be even compared to Jnana Yoga or Hatha Yoga. It's completely different and very, very powerful. A yogi, when he is meditating, Hatha Yogi, if somehow he breaks his concentration on his object, then it's very difficult for him to get in again. But Bhakti Yogi, even if he is not physically, actively in connection, in association, but in his mind, in his because there is this mellow, there is this mood of love in any of the five rasas. So that love makes him think of Krishna automatically. He doesn't have to do anything special. This is Raganuga. And then there are waves of ecstasy, up and down. It's completely different, Bhakti Yoga. The word yoga, connection, is thus described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When one meets Krishna directly, that is called yoga. In the transcendental mellows of neutrality and survivorship, there are similar divisions of yoga and viyoga, but they are not variegated. The divisions of yoga and viyoga are always existing in the five mellows. However, in the transcendental mellows of friendship and parental affection, there are many varieties of yoga and viyoga. The varieties of yoga are thus described. Yoga or connection is of three types: success, satisfaction, and permanence. The divisions of a yoga, separation, are described as longing and separation. Utkantitam viyogascha iti ayoga api dvidhochyate. So I guess this is way too much information for today. Just if you can think about it, because tomorrow we'll discuss about conjugal mellow, madhurya ras, and in that how far to what level it goes. All these ecstasies, all these symptoms. It's amazing. Okay, so we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.